Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. I'm James Haskell, along with my co-host Glenn Martin. It is Steelers week, just like we talked about on Tuesday. We are both looking forward to getting to this preview episode. Cannot wait. A huge AFC North division matchup. Of course, both of them with 7 wins. Right now, technically, right, the Steelers sit atop the AFC North because they've one less loss because they had the bye week. But for all intents and purposes, this is, a tied division right now, 2-horse race, and we are looking forward to crowning a temporary champion, a first place in the division. That's what's up for grabs in this game. But before we get into it, ladies and gentlemen, we got to keep these lights on. So, Glenn, talk to us about our sponsor. What's new at BetOnline, dude?
Oh, BetOnline is just the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. That's all, Jimbo. That's it. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to bet and gamble on the games, even as they're being played, with the largest selection of odds on everything from football to NBA to college basketball, NHL, UFC, and MMA. Head to BetOnline today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Nice. Now, Glenn, really quickly, I don't mean to cut you off, but your audio is lower than normal.
Let me see. Let me check my audio.
Yeah.
It says I'm on this mic.
How's your gain?
Let me check my gain, brother. Turn up my gain.
Because it might just be me.
Is this better?
That's significantly better.
Okay. All right. So maybe
can you actually give it a little more?
A little more juice?
Because I got my audio all the way up right now.
All right. Let me know if it's too loud, ladies and gentlemen. But do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do.
Touch more.
Okay. Oh, they don't like us on opposite sides, Jimbo. Fix it.
Oh, oops. All right. I fixed it. But give us some more. More gas.
Do, re. Oh, more.
Yeah.
More singing. Really? I don't know if I ever go up this high.
Uh-oh. Now the rush.
How do I sound? Oh, no.
Hold on. We're getting there. We fixed it, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry, Laura. We fixed it. We're on the right side. All is right in the world. All right, Glenn, give it to me.
All right. How do I sound now?
That's good. All
right.
If you guys are having trouble hearing Glenn, let us know. But you sound fine.
Cool. Excellent. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here during Steelers week. And look, this game hasn't felt like Ravens Steelers, partly because some of the legends that kind of built this rivalry and the physicality that they brought with it aren't here anymore. But I think the biggest reason, Jimbo, this hasn't felt like old school Ravens Steelers is because the stakes have not been high, Jimbo. Oftentimes, Steelers are playing spoilers at best. They've been hovering around 500, to their credit, not dipping below 500, but haven't necessarily been like world title contenders. They've just been kind of a thorn in the side of playoff hopefuls. But this is different, Jimbo. This is a team that I think is certainly feeling themselves, thinking that they have a chance to compete with anyone. And with that defense and the renewed offensive firepower that they have led by Russell Wilson, I think this rivalry is going to get re-sparked. And yeah, maybe Russell's not here long. This might be a very short-term sparking of that rivalry, but at least as it stands right now, Jimbo, the stakes are high and there's talent on both sides. There's big personalities on both sides. I'm excited about this week.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if I can as well remember a game amongst these two teams that's been so high leverage. Certainly, at least since Lamar Jackson's been under center.
It's been a while, man. I mean, definitely Big Ben retiring marked kind of the end of an era in Pittsburgh, and they have yet to replace his production at quarterback, even with Kenny Pickett and Trubisky and Mason Rudolph. They keep trying, and even with Justin Fields, it looks like they were trying. But right now it's Russell, and he's playing his ass off.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, and I'm excited to dig into that a little further. But before we do, let's start where we always start when we're doing these preview shows, because it's really about who's going to be on the field and who's not, to kind of set the stage for this thing, because that certainly makes a big difference. So let me pull this up here. Shout out to Kyle Barber. Can you see this okay? You need me to zoom?
Zoom in a little bit for me, Jimbo. I got old eyes.
Is this working? No? Oh, let me go back over here. Hold on.
What, your Zoom? You mean show you how to zoom? Okay.
Nope, I got it.
All right. Let me know if you need any
all right,
pointers.
I would be really concerned if.
Come on, Jim. Just let me know if you need me to stop by and unplug something and plug it right back in. All right.
And you just You take the top of it and you blow in the fan and then you knock it off the wall and then you plug it back in. Try now type
Boom.
thing.
That's what I bring as an IT guy. But as you can see on the screen here, Jalen Armour-Davis back to full participant. Kyle Hamilton was the biggest scare. You know, he left last week's game, didn't finish or play in the second half. He had the ankle, and it was a non-contact. So it had me and other fans very, very concerned. But I don't know what it is about Kyle Hamilton, other than the fact that he's young. But, I mean, this guy must be part Wolverine. He somehow always finds a way to make it on the field, Jimbo.
You know, there's some people that just – I feel like a lot of it's mental. There's some people that can just work their way through it. In nagging stuff like this, I'm not saying like full-blown injuries, right? But there's some people that can and some people that can't.
Mentally just get over an Achilles? Is that what you're telling?
Right. No, I'm not talking about that. But something like this, right? Like I feel like it's just one of my favorite quotes of all time, Glenn. Pain is pain. Pain is just pain.
It's also
right.
Usually an indicator. Or
no, for sure. But my point is that if it's just a pain tolerance thing for him.
That's true.
You know what I mean? I think
he's a tough guy.
Yeah, that might be what it ends up being. But yeah, Kyle Hamilton, man, super glad that he's back.
Yeah, and Lamar Jackson continues his normal rest schedule, getting Wednesday off, but then back in full participation by the end of the week. Travis Jones, big bit of concern here, still nursing the ankle injury. Ultimately, was able to get out there and suit up last week. That's the expectation, at least from me, is that he goes with limited sessions on Thursday and Friday, but that's the only one where there's some uncertainty. Everyone else we either know is in or out. And speaking of out, cornerback Arthur Marlette seen in a walking boot around the locker room, ruled out for this game with a calf injury.
And you know he's bummed.
I mean, man, this is the game players love to play the most against teams they used to play on, and usually it's because they feel like they had something left and you know the team didn't agree with them. But
right.
Yeah, I'm sure he would have liked to get out there, but everyone else looks like is going to be a go on Sunday.
Hey, look, it's a big deal that Isaiah Likely's back too.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, let's see what this guy. I wonder what formations we're going to see. We're going to get into that in a little bit here, but I wonder how much 2 tight end, how much 3 tight end, or if they go smaller. Yeah, it's going to be something to watch for.
For sure. As far as the Steelers go. Their list is a little longer, but you know, if you kind of work your way through it, I don't know. You correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I think the biggest one here is probably Warren. I mean, as far as guys that have a chance at not playing,
right?
Not
like playing. Okay.
Right. So I mean, if you talk about Najee and Hayward and you know, and I guess another big one, actually, let me correct myself. I think the biggest one might be Highsmith on this list.
Ruled out.
Yeah, he's the counterpart to TJ Watt. Right now, TJ Watt is a one-man band in a lot of ways as far as edge rushing goes, and that only makes life a little easier for the Baltimore Ravens. Not saying that Highsmith is TJ, but certainly.
Oh, he's he's a double-digit sack guy. Though.
Exactly. Yeah. He's one heck of a football player, and so it's just one less guy to worry about for the Baltimore Ravens. So I say he's probably the biggest hit on this list, and then we'll see if Warren goes because you know he's kind of their do everything out of the backfield type guy, better than Najee Harris, just undrafted type guy. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I mean, look, both teams, relatively speaking, are healthy. Highsmith, I think, is a big deal. Hayward's come back this year and really looked like himself. So all that being said, it should be a really fun matchup, man. Let's dig into it a little deeper. So what we'll do here, just like we always do, if any of you are new to the show, at this point, we're going to break down the Ravens offense versus the Steelers defense. We'll do so from a statistics standpoint. We'll talk about some opportunities the Ravens, offense has in this game. We'll give you some key matchups, etc. So Glenn, why don't you kick us off? I mean, we know who the Ravens are, but why don't we talk about some stats, man?
No doubt. Let me just throw this up here real quick. And Orion, yes, Glenn is still the people's champ and currently the reigning and defending competition champion from the past week. Just wanted to point out, Jimbo. Ravens O's Nation said, I'm tired of losing to these guys. Get the W. Yeah, I hate the confident smirk I keep seeing across Tomlin's face. And I get why he has it. 7 out of 8 meetings, they get the win. Gives you that confidence. But, man, I'd like to wipe that smirk right off his face. Ravens O's Nation, I am with you. It is driving me absolutely crazy. But as far as the Ravens offense goes, I mean, you're talking strength versus strength here, Jimbo. I'm glad this is where we're starting because it's our strength against their strength. No doubt about it. The Ravens offense currently number one in the National Football League in points per game, averaging 31.8. Also number one in yards at 440 yards per game. Absolutely insane. Yards per play, no shock, first as well, 7.1 yards per play. They are first in red zone scoring percentage as well. 76.7% of times they reach the red zone, they turn that into a touchdown. Third down percentage, they're fourth, 47.1%. Fourth down percentage, 16th at 57.1% there. In rushing, 5.7 yards per carry. That's number one in the National Football League. Yards per game, no shock again, number one, 182.6 on the ground, ladies and gentlemen. That's absolutely insane. And then in the air, I mean, Jimbo, they continue to do it. Number one in yards per pass attempt, 9.2 yards. So, I mean, this has got to be. I don't know it. I'm sure if DK was here, I could have him try and look it up. If it ended right now, is this not the first team in the league to lead the league in yards per carry and yards per throw? I mean, what the hell are we talking about?
Right. No, that's a great point. I wonder what DK, where you at, dude? DK is just getting drunk.
You know where he's at, guys. He's at the bar.
Yeah. DK, prove otherwise.
Yeah.
We know you're watching.
Because you can't, DK. That's right. And
that's a great point you bring up, Glenn.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's historic, Jimbo.
Yeah, that's just outrageous. I mean,
absolutely historic.
I'm glad it's our offense.
Yeah, and it just feels weird. Like, literally better than the what's the greatest show on turf. It's literally better than that. Like, that's insane. If anybody's old enough to remember that offense, just enjoy what you're watching, because this is rare stuff. But yeah, good offense. Tell me about their defense here, Jimbo.
Yeah, now look, Glenn, we know they got some guys on defense. I talked about Hayward, talked about TJ. I mean, Highsmith's going to be out. Obviously, they got PQ in the middle of that defense, who we know really well. They got Minkah Fitzpatrick on the back end. Who's this rookie? He's an undrafted rookie. He's a corner. I think he's already got 3 interceptions for them. His name Bunky?
I'm about to pull it up right here for you, Jimbo.
What's the kid's name? Gosh dang it. I keep forgetting his name.
Beanie
Bishop. Yeah. I'm honestly not concerned about him being a factor in this game, but a lot of people like him. I think he's had a sack or 2 this year. He's got 3 interceptions, bit of a playmaker. You got Joey Porter Jr. out there as well. So they got names on this defense, and it really manifests in their stats. Now look, just like you said, Glenn, now this defense certainly is not historic, but top 10 in a lot of categories. Number 1, of course, being points surrendered per game. They're number 2 in the league at just over 16. 8th in the league at yards, just over 300 yards given up per game, of course. Third down conversion, they're 11th at a 34.8, so 35% conversion rate for opposing offenses. And then let's see here. Red zone, of course, they lock it up. They're 3rd in the league at 44%. So almost every existing category on defense, they are top 10. Now, there are some areas which they can be had. Of course, they're 4th. They're giving up 87 rushing yards per game, but they are not as good against a prolific passing offense, which we are simply prolific in both at this point. But if you look at the completion percentage, okay, it's 7th out of 10. Not as good, but still top 10. But they do give up 215 yards in the air. That's 19th in the league. So it's middle of the road.
Okay. Back end of the middle. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there's some opportunity there for the Baltimore Ravens to take advantage. And certainly I believe that they will. I mean, to me, Glenn, look, the threat, if you're talking about to this Ravens offense, is even with Highsmith out, the pass rush can't be ignored. And I think their secondary is playing really well and opportunistically.
Yeah.
So, got to take care of the football. Got to make sure that Lamar stays up, and our offensive line has to have a good game, not only in the running game, but also in the passing game. And then just to add to that, I think if, I'll give you my matchup real quick that I'm really excited to see. And that's old 2-2 Derrick Henry getting that ball on the outside with a head full of steam, and Patrick Queen sliding over right where he needs to be. I can't wait to see, because look, Pat, you already blocked us, so I don't really care anymore. Okay. We know who you are. We know you want nothing to do with Derrick Henry.
Oh, he's going to go at him, though, this week.
Yeah, well, good luck with that.
Yeah, we don't know how it's going to end, but he's going to go. He has to, right? Like, he has to at least try. See. Now, let's see if he continues to do so, but he's got to try. But I find this is this any surprise, Jimbo? You see it on the screen. The two leading tacklers on the Steelers.
Yeah, I guess not. That's fair.
I mean, they take our scraps, and what they do, and our scraps lead their team in tackles. That's what happens, okay? So you're welcome, Pittsburgh, for two guys that we didn't want, okay? And look, Deshaun Elliott, he was really running his mouth on Marlon's podcast. And look, to give him credit, he's got ammunition, especially when he was asked, when Marlon asked him if he was a traitor. And he said, look, no, I'm no traitor because Eric DeCosta could have signed me back. He did not even try. And he gave that money instead to number 32. And
yeah, well, hold on a second. He also drafted number 14.
He did. Yes, that's true.
Let's not forget about that, right?
That's very true. And look, he went on to say some pretty outlandish things, including but not limited to the fact that he said players tend to leave here and then have better careers elsewhere. That is just a
that happens
fallacy.
Yeah.
It's happened in rare occasions, but usually in the occasions that it does happen, it's not because the Ravens didn't want the player back. It's because they priced themselves out of Baltimore and the Ravens wanted the player back. So it's not like there's too many where the Ravens are like, yeah, we don't want this guy. We don't think he's any good. And he goes on to play really, really good elsewhere. But look, Deshaun playing well. Got to give that guy credit. I like that he brought some extra juice to this rivalry with that podcast episode. He's got a pick on the year. He's got some pass breakups, and he's leading their team in total tackles. So credit to him where it's due. You see Patrick Queen there. He mentioned Minka. He's certainly a problem. And then, look, Joey Porter Jr., Jimbo, this is – did I put this as my key matchup? No, I didn't. Okay, but I got a good one. But I do think one of the most fun matchups is going to be watching Joey Porter versus our outside receivers. Hopefully, Zay Flowers, but I think he'll be matched.
Joey.
Oh, yeah, you're right about that because let me tell you, he leads the league in penalties as a DB, and that should come as no surprise. That was his rep coming out of college. Yep. Everybody was going, he's too physical. He's too handsy. It's going to get him in trouble at this level. And it has at times, but to his credit, I mean, look, he's played well, especially considering he's a rookie. He's a big, strong guy, but I just don't know how he stays with the separators we have all over the field. I just don't know how, other than doing what he does, which is grab and hold and scratch and claw. But watch out for him because he's tall. He's a big guy. He can make plays, but I think we can get this guy if we get him in space with one of our elite route running wide receivers. And then, Jimbo, we talked about Highsmith being out. I think he's replaced by the return of Nick Herbig, as well as the addition of Preston Smith from the Green Bay Packers.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. That's a good point.
They traded for him, and they asked Todd Monken about the difficulties in preparing for a guy who's new to the team, and he's pointed out, hey, we're fortunate. We had a joint practice with the Packers, so we have practice film on Preston Smith, and so not completely unfamiliar this year, have practice film from just this season. So that's kind of encouraging. But look, it's definitely TJ Watt and then the other guys. And your attention is going to be on TJ Watt, except for the interior, because Cam Hayward is probably, if not the best D tackle in the league now that Aaron Donald is no longer. So, yeah, I mean, they got maybe the best D tackle.
Might have something to say with that.
Okay, that's fair. But if Cameron's not, I mean, he's a good one, and he's been doing it a long time.
Sure. I mean, he'll be in the Hall of Fame. He'll get a gold jacket, that's for sure.
Absolutely, and TJ Watt will as well. So they have maybe the best D tackle, maybe the best edge in combination. So they got good players. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But let me just tell you.
The styles make fight. Let's not forget the styles make fights, right, Glenn? Speaking of fights, of course, there's one going on tonight. But you bring up a good point. I don't think they're secondary who Bishop, whatever. I'm not super concerned with his ability, but I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm just not like overly. Yeah, I know that was really terrible. But I'm to your point. I'm really excited to watch Joey Porter swat flies out there with Zay Flowers.
Yeah,
it's going to be a lot of fun. Or attempt to swat flies. I guess
it's going to be bad. I'm interested to see if they put him on one of our tight ends to get a better size matchup. E-Call says, if the lowly Cowboys can beat the Squealers at home, the Ravens can too. For the love of everything, good in the world, double team Pickens. That's the matchup right there, Jimbo. A double team Pickens. We're going to get into that when we switch sides of the ball. But right now we're talking Ravens offense against their defense. But, man, you're right about that. That guy is an absolute problem, and we're going to talk a lot about him. But look, we can't do the game of if they beat them and we beat them, then we should beat them game, because it doesn't always line up that way. But you're right in the sense that the Cowboys are pretty bad this year, and yet they beat the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, that was Fields. That was not Russell Wilson. And that's a big, big difference. But I think the most exciting matchup I see out there is going to be, dude, watching Roger Rosengarten against TJ Watt. You talk about a welcome to the league moment.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see what Roger's got, Jimbo, and he's going to have times where he gets help. Of course, everyone gets help when you're playing against TJ Watt. But what will he do when he's not getting that help? When he is asked to go on that island that Todd Monken will ask his tackles to go on, how does he hold up? Can he maintain? And then, of course, we touched on with Hayward being in the middle. What's your confidence level right now that the interior can stop Hayward? Because I'm worried about Hayward blowing up the run game before we can get him out of the backfield. So can this interior do enough to slow down Cam Hayward?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think so. I think Linderbaum specifically is up for the task. I do. I think it's a great against a great. Now, Hayward has a better resume because he's been in the league longer, but I think it's a great against a great. And obviously there's other factors in that, but I think that's a primary matchup there. And I think he'll do a lot to neutralize Hayward. Good players get theirs, but I think he'll make sure it's not a game in a game wrecking fashion. I'm looking forward to that one. That's going to be a fun one.
Yeah, and let's see what type of growth the line interior certainly has made. Let's see how Faalele looks. I saw your boy Faalele got a shout out from John Gruden on his channel when evaluating last week's game, and he pronounced his name correctly. He took the time and did the effort of getting the correct pronunciation. That means something, Faalele. You know what I'm saying? People are starting to pay attention and take notice, and man, that's exciting to see. But the one thing I think is an area
in Cleveland, who?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, the Ravens can take advantage of, and this was brought to my attention. Dan Orlovsky brought this up on one of his, I think it was NFL Live. He talked about the advantages of play action, and particularly what defensive plays that it kind of conflicts with the most or makes most difficulty towards. And he said the cover 3 is the perfect coverage to have play action against. And nobody in the league runs more cover 3 defense than the Pittsburgh Steelers. So,
right.
And the reason being is that when you're in a cover 3, you have 3 guys responsible for the back end of the defense. And those 3 naturally can tend to get brought up by the fake run and allow for, the potential for big plays behind them, or bring down the linebackers who are also, again, in zone coverage, which then opens up that alley, but behind them, but in front of the safety. So this is one of those games, Jimbo, where please establish the run.
Yeah.
Now that's not going to be easy against this team because you got
fast only giving up 87 yards a game.
But you got to establish the run, even if it doesn't come easy early. You have to continue to stick with it and try it. Because if you're able to start knocking those, 5, 6, 8-yard runs on first down, I mean, the play action game is just going to be candy from a baby picking on this secondary. But you can't give up if things don't go well early, because we've seen it with this defense, man. They're fast, they're physical, and it doesn't always work right out the gate. You got to continue to grind. Now, hopefully it does, but you got to continue to keep hammering that run game, because I think it'll pay dividends in the pass game later on.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. And then also, how much of a factor will Lamar be in that? Because you talk about Derrick Henry, but now if your priority is establishing the run at the beginning of this game, getting this defense back on its heels, then, do we see Lamar imposing his will a little bit more, inserting himself a little bit more earlier in the game, in the run game? He doesn't seem to do that often right now, mostly because it's not necessary, right? But that'll be interesting to see as well. As a part of that, I think you bring up a good point, Glenn.
No, that's a good one too there, Jimbo.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, man, to see how this thing goes. TJ of Wakanda, shout out.
Oh, man.
How much
This
you guys
guy.
love Earl Thomas, LOL. The gift that keeps on giving. I don't know what to make of that guy anymore. I mean, I guess I don't really have
He's
3
delusional.
letters. Yeah, I mean, it was really just CTE, right?
Yeah, something.
You know, I mean, he's got to go
look,
on.
you like to have confidence. You got to have confidence in yourself, but you also got to have a level of self-awareness.
I mean, Earl Thomas is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Famer, right?
But those two, Palomalu and Ed Reed,
it's crazy because,
go
I mean,
pick
Ed
on
Reed,
Dawkins or something.
I think he's more comparable in his game, maybe. I don't even know.
I think his game is closer to Ed Reed as far as like their style, because he was a center fielder.
Yeah.
But there's
yeah.
levels. There's levels.
Right. Yeah.
Not even close. Look at any ball, any metric, anything. Look at it. He's got you.
All you have to do is ask the best defensive coach of all time.
That too.
Right. Call up Billy Belichick and see if it doesn't.
And these guys, you know what they always forget? Part of the reason why he's so beloved and he was so great, same with Ray, was the off the field stuff, the leadership. What are you getting from Thomas as a leader? He's cold cocking his teammates. He's late to every meeting. He walks around as a narcissist. Not even close. Not even close, ladies and gentlemen. I remember when Ray, as soon as Billy Cundiff missed that kick, what was Ray doing? He's picking up his teammates.
Yeah.
He's picking up Billy Cundiff going, don't put your, like, it's a difference here. Like, Earl Thomas might have punched Billy Cundiff in his mouth.
Right.
Like, now he may have deserved it, but no, totally different. Totally different. You can't discount the teammate. And he had him beating the stats, and he had him beating everything.
Yeah.
So
Ed Reed is one of the few players similar to Lamar Jackson where like he makes football look like backyard football. This is the NFL we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the way remember the inside move on the punts?
Oh my gosh.
When Ed Reed would freestyle everything. I mean, not that he didn't study. Obviously, he's tremendous, right? Like, but the way that he would play was just people are unable to play that way. Maggie Liz says, I'm so ready for the win on this one. Not scared of pity. Respect him, but just not scared. We're with you, Maggie. I know Lamar's hungry for this one. I know this team's hungry for this one. And I agree with you, Glenn. If anybody's been talking a lot this week, it's been Pittsburgh. At least what I've been seeing. They've been talking a decent amount. Not a big fan of it. Really looking forward to it. And I'm just going to say it now, Glenn. I was going to wait till the end of the show.
Hold on.
Pittsburgh's going to get exposed in this game.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm not going to tell you my score yet, but they're absolutely going to get exposed. DK said this on Tuesday, and I didn't give a chance to defend myself. I know we'll switch offense-defense matchup, but I want to say this because I forgot to back up DK's point that he's more nervous about Cincinnati. In today's NFL, the best offense usually wins the game. Generally how it goes. It's a very offensive-leaning game. And I don't think Pittsburgh's defense is historic enough to stop such a good offense in today's football. Now, of course, you have to be concerned about our defense, who's they're playing in a lackluster way against an average offense. You could probably say that. So you have to think about that. But at the end of the day, I understood DK's point about being more concerned about the Bengals, and I side with him in that they have a much better offense. The Ravens offense is so good that I think Pittsburgh isn't going to be able to put the pedal to the metal when they have to. If we get a lead on this thing, Glenn, I think it's going to be problems because they simply they don't have the firepower of Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and they don't. I just don't think they have it. So anyway, I think they get exposed.
I understand the point. I will say I disagree only because I think the difference between the Bengals offense and the Steelers offense is big. But I think the difference between the Steelers defense and the Bengals is different.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a larger.
If we can execute early, though, I think that this could get out of hand. I think get out of hand. Now, if we were at home too.
We are at home.
Oh, shoot. We are at home this matchup, aren't we? All right. So look, I did this right. I knew this. See, my first instinct was right, and then I second guessed myself. Yeah. So look, that's why I'm calling a 10-point win here, Glenn.
Okay.
10-point win. But
anyway. Actually, we might not be at home.
No, we're in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we are in Pittsburgh. We're accurate. Sure. Sorry, Jimmy. Sorry.
Dude, you know what you just made me do? Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap. You know what I'm talking about? Michael Scott. He's like,
Oh, yeah. I got it. Then I got it reversed. Snip, snap, snip, snap.
You know how painful that is? Snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap.
You did have to snap it.
Oh, gosh.
But also, last thing I want to point out, I think one thing we could also see is another example of can the Ravens continue to show that if you decide to load the box and go one-on-one on the outside and try and just beat us like they used to be able to beat us.
Sure.
It's a different Ravens team. It's a different Lamar Jackson, and it's way different weapons on the outside who can beat that and make them pay. But I'm still interested to continue to be proven that is the case, because I do very much so believe that will be the tactics employed by the defense in the playoffs. So keep showing that if teams want to do it and they think you can't get open on the outside, you can't make them pay when they leave you cover zero, keep doing it. Keep doing it. That's all I want to see. I'd be excited to see it. But Doomboy says, I believe Harbs has a hubris problem. It's his way or the highway. His whole time as head coach, very reluctant to change or go outside his box. The Vault disagreed. Well, I do think that he has. It is in large part his way, his way or the highway. But he's also, because he doesn't have an offensive or defensive, more so offensive system, he also is more flexible in the sense that he went from Lamar Jackson, a statue. Joe Flacco, a statue, to Lamar Jackson, who's the exact opposite of that, and did so in 1 year. So I think he's shown the ability to be flexible, but he has a standard, that's for sure, and he's holding people to it. I do think that sometimes he's a little stubborn. I'll certainly agree with you there, but look, I'm a Harbs guy, so ultimately I think he's done a really good job here and will continue to.
Yeah, it's hard. I agree with you 100%. I'm just going to leave it there. I agree with you.
Okay. All right, let's see here. This might lead into who you're I don't know, you tell me, but
yeah, I guess that's fair.
Go ahead, Jimbo.
Yeah. Quan says Mike Wallace had a touchdown. Hopefully Deontay finds it as well. In fact, my X factor offensively for this game is Deontay Johnson. Mike Tomlin took a shot at him about his lack of stats. His snaps went down between his first game and second game here in Baltimore. I think that Monken is just giving him time, getting him familiar with the offense. Bam! Give him a good 1-2 combo. I think Deontay has himself a game in this one. I'm gonna say 75 plus yards, 4 receptions, and a tutty.
Wow. I hope you're right. I really hope
Early
you're right.
tutty. I think he might be the first touchdown we get in this game.
Hey, this is partly of the reason why he's here. Games like this, where they are no doubtedly going to come after us and force guys on the outside to win their one-on-one matchups. And hey, he's a guy who can do it with the best of them. This guy gets crazy amounts of separation. Let's hope it continues. And look, every team tries to get former players big time if they can. They're not going to bend the whole matchup.
Right.
But if they can, they want to get guys, kind of revenge on their former team, gets everybody jacked up, including the teammates of that player. But I'm going to go with Tylan Wallace. I'm hopeful that his appearance last week wasn't just a flash in the pan, wasn't a one-off, wasn't just because a guy needed to catch his breath and he just so happened to be lucky. No, I want to see the continued involvement of Tylan Wallace. I'm not asking for him to take anyone's job, but I am asking for him to get, a couple targets a game and run his fair share of routes, because I think he's a talented player, and he often gets overshadowed by, let's be honest, more talented players on the team, but he's still a heck of a player, and I love him with the ball in his hands, Jimbo.
Yeah, no, dude, talk about a dangerous player, an underestimated player with the ball in his hands. I couldn't agree with you more. I like it. All right, let's switch this thing over. Talk about the Ravens defense against the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. I'll give you some stats real quick, in regards to our defense. Things aren't as pretty as the Steelers defense, but we are making changes. 25th in the league at 25 points get surrendered a game, 368 yards a game given up. That marks us as 27th in the league, 30th in the league at third downs, a shy under 47%. Not great. In the red zone, we let them score 60% of the time, 20th in the league. Now, where we still rank highly, unfortunately, I think this is just an effect of our impeccable offense, but we are first in rushing and in rush defense in basically every category. We only give up 73 yards a game, 3.4 yards a carry. But look, they also only rush it 33.5 times or percent of the offensive plays we go up against, which is also first in the league. And that's usually because teams are behind. So all that being said, in the air, we are absolutely an abysmal last, 32nd at 295 really yards given up per game, last in the league. And then coincidentally, we're also last in the number of pass plays that the offense against us runs. It makes sense. And then let's see here. Yeah, I mean the passing yards, the completion percentage is not terrible at 17th, 65.5%. Right, that's about as good as it gets for this Ravens defense at this point. But Glenn, I mean, when it comes to our defense, well, let's talk about we'll talk about their offense, but my question really to you is, are you a believer? Right? Like, are you a believer? Can they get it done? Can they improve like the offensive line, has shown over the year or over the weeks? Do they have what it takes with the guys that they have there?
Man, I tell you this. I am a believer, Jimbo. I am a believer. I'm a believer. Now, I wouldn't bet on it yet, but I'm a believer because of the fact that we have personnel that I've seen with my own two eyes play a hell of a lot better than they're playing. It's not like we have guys on the team where we've never seen good ball fall from these. Marlon's a heck of a player. Brandon Stevens, I mean, last year he was the surprise player on our entire defense. Is the way he played was unbelievable on a historic defense. Marcus Williams is a Pro Bowler. Like, this guy is not, he's not a trash player. Eddie Jackson, yeah, he might be done because he's old, but he also has some really good game tape in his past. Like, I just refuse to believe that all of these guys simultaneously forgot how to play football. I don't believe it. I don't think they're playing well together as a unit. I've heard people talk about 90% of the tape looks great, 90% of the tape, but that 10% is the worst tape they've ever seen. Okay, well, maybe they can work out that last 10% and make it look at least reasonable here, Jimbo. I think if I didn't have a bunch of guys who I've seen play good ball, then I'd be more worried. But actually, the newcomers, when you talk about what Nate Wickens has done, he might be, outside of Marlon, our best corner or our best member of the secondary outside of him and Kyle Hamilton. So I don't think it's any newcomers. I think it's guys we've seen play good, playing bad right now. So I do have hope. And I think I have confidence that our team is going to continue to pursue any and every avenue to get this better. Like, I don't see give up in our team. Like, we just don't have a team to fold. Like, and for a lot of, and also we're still competing. We're still very much in it. So I do think they'll eventually, they're not going to get this to a top 10 defense, but I think they'll get it to where it's more like 20th and not 32nd. Is kind of where I'm at. But hey, maybe we'll catch fire in the playoffs like the Chiefs seemingly do every year, even when their defense stinks. But as far as the Steelers offense, 23 points per game, that's 12th. Yards per play, they're 21st, 5.1. Yards per game, they're 18th, 326 in total. Third down conversion, they're 13th, 40%. Red zone, this is where we've got to be better, Jimbo, because we're horrible in the red zone. Like, 59% is not good, but they're 25th. They only score 50% of the time.
Perfect.
Got to hold them to three. Got to hold them to three. Absolutely have to. Rushing yards, let's see. They're 8th, 138 on defense. No, I'm sorry. On offense. I'm sorry. On offense, they're 8th. They're 2nd in yards, rushes per game. So look, they will keep bludgeoning you. Like, even if it's not going well, they're going to keep trying to hammer it because they love the play action game. They love taking deep shots. They're going to take 10 to 15 daggone deep shots this game, guys. This is what has me scared. I'm going to get back to the stats, but Jimbo, we have got to be better at the catch point in this week, or George Pickens is going to be laughing. Like, this guy is so naturally good at tracking the ball. He's not a very likable guy, Jimbo. I'll tell you that. And he's on my team, my fantasy team. So I that gives me a little more affection towards him. And I still don't like the guy very much. But his ability to track the ball in the air, his ability to use late hand movement, so he doesn't move his hands till the ball is right on top, so you can't anticipate it as a defender. His ability to catch the ball far away from his body and has vice grip mitts for hands. And then when he gets the ball, he is a monster to try and tackle, Jimbo. Like, he has it all when it comes to receiving, and I am scared. And then when you look at what they just got in Mike Williams, they get another 6'4" guy in his first week with the team. What does he do? He just catches a long touchdown pass and reminds the Jets that he still can play. Like, they have 2 6'4" guys who can win jump balls on the outside. And then they got the speedster in Austin. They got Pat Freiermuth, who's solid. And they got a two-headed rushing attack. So I am nervous about how our defense is going to slow this attack down, Jimbo.
Yeah, I think it's fair to be nervous, but I kind of mentioned it before. I do like our chances better against the larger guys. That because Brandon Stevens is going to be on you now. Just like you said, 50-50 balls. They're really good, but Brandon is a physical player, so I'm not concerned about him getting absolutely tossed at the line of scrimmage or something of that nature. Same thing with Marlon. Wiggins plays physical. Does he have the strength? I guess we'll see. Right now, he's certainly not afraid of physicality. But I get more nervous with, Jamar Chase is so blazing fast. And so good with the football and saying every game against us, seemingly he breaks a short one for a home run, right? So I do find some comfort in that. But to your point, Glenn, I put Pickens against, I specifically pointed to our safeties as my matchup to watch in this game, because they have to keep things in front of them. They can't let the ball go over their heads. We talked about it before. They're safeties. They're the safety valve, right? Like, I guess I'm specifically talking about our buddy number 32, Marcus Williams. But yeah,
you talking about perfect passer rating?
Exactly. Perfect passer rating, Marcus Williams.
Okay.
That's right. He's got to keep it in front.
Yeah.
You just have to, man. We can't.
But he can't be 50 yards back to do it,
right.
Jimbo.
Right. 100%. He's got to be in the frame. It's got to be in front of him. Those are two relative requirements for a safety that is 7 years old or older playing Pop Warner, right? So let's do that, Marcus. But they pose a lot of threats, Glenn, and I'm interested to see how this goes. I've confidence. I'm also a believer in this defense that we can turn the ship around. I think we have the guys. I'm glad Colin Hamilton's going to be there. I'll tell you what, also, Glenn, Russ throws it up 10, 15 times a game. He's going to give us plenty of opportunities to make up for that Browns game. He's just going to give us the opportunities to do so.
You think so? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not saying he's going to be Jameis Winston out there. That's not my point. But like you said, he's going to push the ball down on the, he's going to push the ball down the field, and there's going to be opportunities to get our hands on it. It's going to be.
The question is, can our guys actually play the ball? Don C., appreciate your generosity. As always, guys, he's gifting memberships. If you got yours, make sure you accept it and then go in and check out all the membership advantages here at 410 Sports Talk. Don C., thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. And let's look a little bit here about their numbers. And here was the shock. They go in and they bench Justin Fields when he's got this team in first place. He's got a 5-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. Yeah. And they still, particularly Tomlin, still had the guts, despite massive backlash from the national media calling him all kinds of dumb and idiot and this and fireable and this and all that. And look what Russ has done. He's come in, he's pushed the ball down the field, averaging 60 more yards per game through the air than what Fields was averaging. He has a 6-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. 58%. Yeah, that's not where you want it to be in today's NFL, but it's certainly, you'll take that 58% when you think about the chunk plays he's pushing. He's stretching that defense. You can get a 66 completion percentage when you're dumping it down if you want. But guys who push the ball down the field stress the defense. I'm okay with a little bit lower completion percentage. And then Najee Harris, Jimmy's favorite running back in the entire league, averaging 4.1 yards per carry, a bruiser of a back, guy who runs strong, runs tough, kind of fits this division and fits this matchup. Jalen Warren's his backup there. And then on the outside, I mean, George Pickens, ever since the move to a quarterback, has been going nutty. Calvin Austin's their burner. Freiermuth's their big, tall, strong tight end. Darnell Washington is even bigger, even stronger, and also a tight end. He's huge. So yeah, they got some guys, man. And then don't forget about Mike Williams. He's right here. He's got one catch, Jimbo, as a Steeler. It's a 32-yard touchdown.
I know.
I mean, what are we doing? So look,
Mike took it back to Clemson days with that one, dude.
He certainly did. He looks, and look, I've always been a Mike Williams guy, man. I've always been a Mike Williams guy. I thought he would have fit our room. It didn't take much for the Steelers to get him there, Jimbo.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Massey says, it's better if Chiefs win over Bills. The race is now for the second seed. Agree? If season ended today, Ravens play Texans, then go to Arrowhead just to get to the AFC Championship. Ooh. So that doesn't even win the AFC chip. You got to beat.
No, I think you do all you. I don't know. To me, there's still enough time left. Like, I don't know if we're that. I know we're in week 11, but there's still enough time left to see what can happen. I mean, look, they lost their kicker at any time. And if I'm not mistaken, they still have a decent amount of divisional matchups left. The Chiefs.
Yeah.
Those games are always wild cards. Look, they barely beat the Broncos. And a lot of it has to do with the fact the matchup, but also the division, games generally being closer. So I don't know if I'm ready. If I'm ready to be there yet, Messi.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm rooting for the Bills.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for the Bills. I don't want to does anyone in the world want to see a damn Chiefs perfect record?
No.
Never.
Yeah.
Like, hell no. I don't care what. Get that. I'm rooting for like crazy for the Bills this weekend. I might have some buffalo wings just to honor the city. Okay, that's what I might do. But yeah, I'm rooting. I'm still holding out hope, like Jimmy said. There's 7 games left. Let's go get that number 1 seed.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back to Baltimore like it should have been last year.
Yeah, I like that.
But yeah, let me see here. I want to point out some things here. The thing I notice about their offensive line is they're actually pretty good in the tackle position here, Jimbo. And I think the biggest area that we can expose and attack is the interior of their offensive line. I think this has got to be a continuance of what we saw last week from Nnamdi Madubuike. He had his most pressures. He either tied or set the record for most sacks in a game with 3. He was an absolute problem. You put him next to Travis Jones, you have a serious problem. Those two need to be absolutely dominant. They need to beat up the interior of their offensive line because, let's be honest, that's where our strength is. Like, we're not strongest on the edges, and I think they're strongest on the offensive line on the edges. So let's attack their weakness with our strength, beat them up on the inside, and I think that's the best way to pressure Russell Wilson anyway, Jimbo. Let's remember, he's one of the first shorter quarterbacks to be successful. He's a 5'10" guy. Where do those guys get impacted the most when it comes to pressure? It's typically up the A gap, right in the middle, push these guys, throw them linemen right into his face and try and force this guy off his platform. That's my key matchup in this game is what does Madubuike and Travis Jones do against this interior of their offensive line?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to see. I'm excited to see what can happen because I agree with you. That disruption can be, even more against a guy like Russell Wilson. So that'll be a lot of fun to see how it plays out, man. Gosh, I can't wait for this game. Let's get to a couple of these super chats real quick before we get to our few little things here. Let's see. Don C says, "What's up, guys? Working in New England. It's cold. Have a great show. I'm driving. Won't be in chat. Hi, my 410 family. Drive safe, first and foremost. Hopefully it's not too cold. Make sure you got the long johns on, thermals, underneath the old jeans.
If you go by Fenway or Gillette, just throw an egg over in their direction."
I was going to say something more, but that's better. That's more innocent.
Nah, take in a brown paper bag, light it on fire, knock on their door, run away. Okay?
Knock on Fenway's door. Anyone at home? You're over here trying to get Don C arrested.
Hightail it out of there. Okay? That's what they need. That's exactly what
they deserve. And then when you're out, when you're driving away, Don, roll down the window and go,
and we will know exactly.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Let's see. Gene. Oh, go ahead.
Gene says, "Why don't we just start one of the rookie safeties?" Marcus Williams is letting up a perfect passer rating, It literally can't get any worse. Yes, Gene. Yes. I love it. Is that the icy? Yes, that's the icy picture. I love that. But no, I've been saying that, yes, why not? Why not see what Sanusi Kane, Bo Braid, the Terp, get him out there. That guy was the MVP of the preseason on the defensive side of the ball. Like you said, it literally cannot get worse. How could it? It's perfect. I mean, he's doing absolutely nothing. I don't even know for sure if I'm out there if it's worse because it's already perfect. Right. I mean, yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. Asmodeus Stenotis, 20th is really optimistic. 20th. What does this mean?
It's got to be a defensive ranking.
Okay. Well,
that was my thought as soon as I saw it.
Yeah, that's all we have left on the defensive side over here is optimism and hope. That's all we have left because we sure as shit can't point to anything on the field.
Yeah,
that's for damn sure. But what's your kind of key defensive matchup you're looking for?
Yeah. I talked about Pickens. That's what it is. Them being able to, the safeties in particular, because I think the corners. I think this is an okay matchup for our corners, right? As far as I get a little more concerned.
Remember T. Higgins? He had 2 tutties against us in the first game. He didn't play in the second. But do you remember the extension and it just hands catches on guys? Sure.
First game, but and then I also think about Pickens doo-dooing on Marlon last year. That was last year, wasn't it? But I feel okay with this matchup as long as our safeties come to play. As long as we can get some help, get them some help, and I think it'll be okay.
This is
I will tell you, Glenn, my X factor though. Speaking of your concern about the
man,
Brandon Stevens is getting his hands on one, bro.
Hold on.
His hands on one. He's gonna have
a pick.
That's right. He's getting a pick. He's getting his hands on one. He's gonna have himself one heck of a game. One heck of a game. He's gonna have a pass breakup, at least one, and he's gonna have an interception outside of that. Brandon Stevens has himself a game today.
Well, look, I think this entire defense should be embarrassed, should be pissed off, should be ashamed, really, of the performances that they put up as of late. And really knowing that they have to be carried by the offense has got to hurt the pride of everyone on the coaching staff and everyone on, of course, the players as well. So I'm hopeful that we get just the most fired up, physical version of this defense, because physicality has really been the staple of this matchup. And typically the more physical team is the one that wins the game. And what I don't want to see is our defense lacking physicality, get pushed around, and just get embarrassed again like they did last week. Marlon talked about it. Last win did not feel like a win. Like they were upset. Zach Orr said it kept him up. He couldn't sleep. It took him days to get over it. And look, you don't want to be like Todd Monken. Todd Monken still isn't over the loss of last year. If you watched his presser, he kept bringing it up and he looked furious about it. He said, we gave that game away. And look, don't just continue to be the laughing stock, because that's what it is right now. They're going, because everyone says, oh, it's the defense in Baltimore, they'll figure it out. And then every week we have a worse and worse and worse performance. So show some pride out there, man. Show some pride, play your ass off. Follow Justin Metabike's lead, because that guy had a fire lit under his ass last week and played like the best defensive tackle in football last week. I hope it continues. He's my X factor this week.
Let's go.
Keep playing the way you've been playing. Travis Jones, I wouldn't be shocked at all if he makes just as big of an impact. Those two together are a tandem that need to absolutely carry the front seven of this defense until they get it figured out, if they get it figured out. But that's my key defensive player there, Jim.
I like it. Now, on to the part of the show that you're all most excited about, and the reason why you're here, that being the competition. We're here to talk about it. Now, DK is not here. Do we have the video? Do we have the intro video?
Do we?
Do we have it lined up?
I got you, brother. Hold on.
Dude, let's go.
All right, here we go. Oh, hold on. New one.
To my on the bad fly, trying to let they cast stock, homie, let them know you here. All my ladies that be mad high, get me off like mad lie. Shorty, let me get this clear. Okay, Baltimore the backdrop, rep it like a mascot. I'ma let them know we here. All my ladies.
I was wondering how long that was gonna go.
First time debuting the new intro to the competition. Shout out to DK as well as, man, I should have had this prepared.
I got it.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Are you going to try?
Abdoulaye Berry.
What is it?
Abdoulaye Berry, I believe is how you properly pronounce it. If I'm butchering it, sorry, dude. But we appreciate the intro, dude. Local Baltimore Ravens or Baltimore artists sent us the music, and we're glad to give them an opportunity here, and we appreciate it. Yeah, so let's get right into it, Glenn.
Yeah, Steelers week competition is bigger than ever. And remind me, Jimbo, I can't recall who won last week's competition.
I have a selective amnesia.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I know that the chat's going to remind me that it was me because it's the people's champ. Let's see here. No, you can buy a hoodie. Jimbo, how do they do that?
Yeah, sure. No problem. I can drop you a link here in the chat.
Appreciate that. But all right, for the first over-under is Keaton Mitchell rushing yards. He sets it at 12.5, does DK. After last week's over-under was 1.5 carries. Does Keaton Mitchell get above 12.5 yards rushing, Jimbo?
No, he's going under. I just don't think he gets on the field enough.
Yeah, I heard Todd Monken talking about it. It's like, look, man, it's not easy getting guys on the field. Like, it's a challenge when things are going well to now incorporate a new piece. And I think Keaton Mitchell's kind of caught up in that. I'm going to say under, but, man, I would love if they could find a way to get this guy 5 carries. I would absolutely love it because he could turn those 5 carries into 80 yards. No one would be shocked. He'll have 4 carries for 4 yards and 1 carry for 75. Nobody would be shocked at all. But I say under until I see it. Deontay Johnson, receiving yards. We know where Jimmy's going with this one. Over-under set at 10.5. Jimmy thinks he's getting a revenge game. I'm going to say under for the same reason as Mitchell. He's another guy being incorporated into an offense that's hitting on all cylinders, and it's difficult. So until I see it, I'm going to say under. But, man, I wouldn't be shocked at all if Jimmy's absolutely right. Number 3. Wolverine himself, Kyle Hamilton, total tackles. DK sets it at 6.5. What do you think, Jimbo?
Yeah, I put under. I don't think far under, but I think 6 is fair.
6 is fair? Okay. I'm going to say over. I think he's our team's leading tackler on the day, and I think he gets to double digits just barely, sitting at 10. So, actually, did I say over or did I say under?
Let's see.
I might have just crisscrossed.
You said under.
Should I change it since I said over on air?
Sure, so you can snip, snap, snip, snap, snip, snap.
bro, that scene, man. That much trouble.
Dude, you remember when he's like, what does he say? She hates the way he chews or something, and he's like, I have soft teeth. Oh, because he dips it in his wine, the steak or whatever.
Oh man.
It's a rough one,
bro. That's too good. Ravens number 4 over under. Ravens tackles for loss. DK
over, baby. Smash the over on this one. Where'd you go?
I went under.
Of course you did.
And I think I'm going to get this one wrong, but I'm not going to change it because I didn't say it wrong on the show, but I wish I would have.
Well, we know that Najee's going to give us 2.
Yeah, that's true.
And 2 sacks. We already are over.
I know. God damn it.
Yeah, Najee's just not Derrick Henry.
Well, I'll be happily wrong with that one if and when I am wrong. Let's get into the first tiebreaker. DK sets this week's over-under at 47.5 points. Any chance you take the under?
Yeah, I'm taking the over here. I think the Ravens win this game 34-27. That's right, a decisive victory for the Baltimore Ravens. And if my math is right, that is well over 47.5.
I think the over is also correct.
Let's go.
However,
Glenn, don't you dare. Don't you dare.
I think we lose the game.
Oh, my gosh.
Because our defense is so bad, Jimbo. Here's what worries. We can't lose the turnover battle. And if we do, if there's one mistake on the offense, anything, a mishandled snap, a fumbled ball, anything, we cannot overcome that on defense. We can't. I don't know if we're going to get a single stop, Jimbo. I have so little faith in our defense, so little faith that even with our greatness on offense, I think their defense will do just enough. And look, this doesn't make me happy to say this. I think we lose by 1 point. I'm not happy about it. And I hope I'm wrong.
Good.
But I said that this was going to happen. Okay, Jimbo. I previewed this a little bit on Tuesday that I might be leaning in this direction.
You did.
And
You did.
I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm way wrong. But I'm going to say the
Mm-hmm.
Steelers win by 1. Second tiebreaker, total yards for the Ravens. It's the closest to the pin competition. Jimbo, how many yards are we getting?
Yeah, I'm still flying high, baby. 450. 450 is where we're going in this game. Like I said, I think they get exposed. I think we hop out early, and I think they struggle to keep up, and I think we dominate time of possession. And 450 is my number. You and DK have lost faith, I see.
No. I say 375. It's DK who's lost faith. He said 370.
Yeah, because that's such a drastic difference.
Hey, he's the low man. He's the low man. Okay.
He is.
All right. Now I'm hopeful, and believe me, I want the Ravens to win like crazy, but the way Russell's pushing the ball down the field, it's going to put so much stress on the back end of our defense that actually, despite the fact that we're the number 1 rush defense, I don't think we're going to look like that this weekend. I think we're going to give up some rushes because of the fact that we're so goddamn concerned about what's going to go on over the top. And then boom, right when they soften us up, I think they're gonna have some opportunities. But again, hope I'm wrong, and I hope the defense plays better than I'm expecting. But dang, I'm scared, Jimbo.
Don't be.
That's not how I wanted to end the show either.
Don't be, dude. We're gonna decisively win. They don't have the firepower to keep up. End of story. That's what it's gonna be.
Okay.
Because our defense, I believe that our margin for error. No, our defense has to do much less than their offense has to do. If that makes sense. Like their offense, I think, has to really overachieve. Our defense has to hit a free throw.
They definitely have to just get
they just have to count to 11 without getting naked. and they have to do much more on offense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like that, Maryland. John Jay is with me. Not that I don't even want people with me.
Come on, now Glenn's like pulling people over to the dark side. Here we go.
I didn't mean to say it like that.
I'm going to Steelers hat after this.
No. Look, Jimbo. Still.
Oh gosh.
Still, Jimbo.
Oh goodness. Back in his Chief days.
Still behind me on the shelf. Never been worn. Except
wait, weren't you supposed to? You wore it for one show,
once,
didn't you?
I wore it once, but other than that, it's just been sitting on the shelf. And this is a crispy, this is not.
No, this is legit.
This is the real deal.
We should sell it.
This is a real deal jersey here, and you can see that's how much my love is. I ain't wearing this garbage. Wearing that trash. I used it once as a floor mat when I got out of the shower. That's about it. Put up under my tootsies. Dry my tootsies.
Oh, all that being said, ladies and gentlemen, submit your competition guesses via DM to us in any social media handle or in the comment section once this video is done. Baltimore Ravens are getting the dub. We'll be back right after the game, but that's it for us tonight, folks.
Yeah, that's right. We will talk to you later.
Ah!